Whenever you're ready, you can start with prayers, Mate.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances on grace to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namini Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Today we are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 8, verses 84 to 108. Talks between the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. Text 84. Increasing love is experienced in various states, one above another. But that love which has the highest taste in the gradual sessions of desires manifests itself in the forms of the conjugal love. Text 84. There is a gradual order of improvement in the transcendental mellows from the initial ones to the later ones. In each subsequent mellows of the qualities of the previous mellows are manifested. Counting from 2, then 3, and up to the point of 5 complete qualities. Text 86. As the qualities increase, so the taste also increases in each and every mellow. Therefore, the qualities found in Santa Rasa, Dhasya Rasa, Sakya Rasa, and Vatsalya Rasa are all manifested in conjugal love, Madhurya Rasa. Text 87. The qualities in the material elements, sky, air, fire, water, and earth, increase one after another by a gradual process of 1, 2, and 3. And at the last stage, in the element earth, all 5 qualities are completely visible. Text 88. Complete attainment of the lotus feet of the Lord Krishna is made possible by the love of Godhead, specifically Madhurya Rasa or conjugal love. Lord Krishna is indeed captivated by this standard of love. This is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Text 89. Lord Krishna told the gopis, the meaning of attaining my favor is loving service unto me. And unfortunately, you are all thus engaged. Those living beings who render service unto me are eligible to be transferred to the spiritual world and attain eternal life with knowledge and bliss. Text 90. Lord Krishna has made a firm promise for all time. If one renders service unto me, Krishna correspondingly gives him an equal amount of success in devotional service to the Lord. Text 91. According to Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita 4.11, as all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respect, O son of Pritha. Text 92. In Srimad Bhagavatam 10.32.22, it is said that Lord Krishna cannot proportionately reciprocate devotional service in the Madhurya Rasa. Therefore, he always remains a debtor to such devotees. Text 93. When the gopis were overwhelmed with dissatisfaction due to the Lord Krishna's absence from the Rasa Leela, Krishna returned to them and told them, my dear gopis, our meeting is certainly free for all material contaminations. I must admit that in many lives it would be impossible for me to repay my debt to you because you have cut off the bondage of family's life just to search of me. Consequently, I am unable to repay you. Therefore, please be satisfied with your honest activities in this regard. Text 94. Although Krishna, unparalleled beauty, is the topmost sweetness of love of Godhead, his sweetness increases unlimitedly when he is in the company of the gopis. Consequently, Krishna exchange of love with the gopis in the topmost perfection of life of Godhead. perfection of love of Godhead. Text 95. Although the son of Devaki, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the reservoir of all kinds of beauty. When he is amongst the gopis, he nonetheless becomes more beautiful, for he resembles a Marakata jewel surrounded by gold and other jewels. Text 96. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, "This is certainly the limit of perfection, but please be merciful to me and speak more if there is more." Text 97. Raya Ramananda replied, "Until this day, I did not know anyone within this material world who could inquire beyond this perfectional stage of devotional service." Text 98. Among the loving affairs of the gopis, Ramananda Rai continued, Srimati Radharani's love for Sri Krishna is topmost. Indeed, the glories of Srimati Radharani are highly esteemed in all revealed scriptures. Text 99. Just as Srimati Radharani is most dear to Sri Krishna, her bathing place Radha Kund is also dear to him. Among all the gopis, Srimati Radharani is supermost and very dear to Lord Krishna. Text 100. When the gopis began to talk among themselves, they said, "Dear friends, the gopis who has been taken away by Krishna to a secluded place must have worshipped the Lord more than anyone else." Text 101. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Please speak on. I am very happy to hear you because a river of unprecedented nectar is flowing from your mouth." Text 102. During the Rasa dance, Sri Krishna did not exchange loving affairs with Srimati Radharani due to the presence of the other gopis. Because of the dependence of the others, the intensity of the love between Radha and Krishna were not manifest. Therefore, he stole her away. Text 103. If Lord Krishna rejected the company of the other gopis for Srimati Radharani, we can understand that Lord Sri Krishna has intense affection for her. Text 104. Ramananda Rai continued, "Please therefore hear from me about the glories of Srimati Radharani's loving affairs. They are beyond compare within these three walls." Text 105. Finding herself treated equally with all the other gopis, Srimati Radharani displayed her tricky behavior and left the circle of the rasa dance. Missing Srimati Radharani's presence, Krishna became very unhappy and began to lament and wander throughout the forest to search her out. Text 106. Lord Krishna, the enemy of Kamsa, took Srimati Radharani within her heart, for he desired to dance with her. Thus, he left the arena of the rasa dance and the company of all the other beautiful damsels of Raja. Text 107. Being afflicted by the arrows of the Cupid and unhappily regretting his mistreating Srimati Radharani, Madhava, Lord Krishna, began to search for her along the banks of the Yamuna river. When he failed to find her, he entered the bushes of the Vrindavana and began to lament. Text 108. Simply by considering these two verses, one can understand that what nectar there is in such dealings. It is exactly like fraying a mane of nectar. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. I'm outside. Can you guys hear me okay? Audio quality, sound is okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So, what we are hearing, the context here is the conversation between Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai, who is such an exalted devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he was a very intimate associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We heard this conversation is happening on the bank of the Godavari River. And then we heard this is the second meeting. First meeting, when everybody was there, they did not engage in this internal discussion, this deep philosophical discussion. They did not talk before everybody else. So now, this discussion yesterday in the last session also we discussed how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him to quote, asked Ramananda Rai to quote the scriptural verses that talk about the highest goal of life, like that, highest perfection of life, like that. And then Ramananda Rai, we heard quoted several verses which are progressively more and more perfect, like that. So initially, I will not go through all of them, but briefly mention only. Yesterday we were discussing each of them. We went through. Essentially, it starts with talking about prescribed duties being highest and offering the results to Krishna being highest. Then it talks about renouncing occupational duties being highest. And then it talks about Gnana Mishra Bhakti. That means Bhakti mixed with empirical knowledge is best. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, no, no. Then he talks about how Bhakti that is free of Gnana is the best. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepts that. Yes, this is right. This is all right, like that. But from there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu encourages him to speak more higher, like that, even though that's correct. Then he talks about why the bhakti in the Prema Bhakti category. And then after that, he talks about even Raganuga Bhakti, Ragamarga Bhakti, Prema Bhakti. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always encourages him to tell more, go more higher, like that. Then he goes to Dasya Prema. That means Prema with the constitutional relationship of a servant and master, like that relationship with Krishna. Then he says, go more. Then he says, Sakya Prema. That means treating Krishna as equal. Until now, he said that is all right. But now he says this is very good. From here onward, he says this is very good, like that. When the Sakya Prema, when he talked about, that means the Krishna's relation with Gopas, like that, Gopa friends. Then he goes to Vatsalya Prema. That means as a parental love with Krishna, like Nanda Maharaj and the Madhya examples he gives. He says this is very good also. Then finally he goes to Kanta Prema. That means love of the gopis towards Krishna. That he says this is the limit of perfection, like that. A sadhya vadi, he says. This is the limit of perfection. So we are in that section now, where is describing the conjugal love for Krishna between the gopis and Krishna, like that. That is the section where we are in now. Now I'll open the book with the other verses. Today's verse. Yeah, we're in the 84th verse. So just before previous verses talked about how conjugal attachment for Krishna, that is being in Madhurya Rasa, is the topmost position in the love of Godhead, like that. That is what was discussed. And then he gave the example of how gopis were with Krishna and the Rasa dance, like that. That mercy was not even given to Lakshmi Devi, like that also. And then he says Krishna suddenly reappeared in the Rasa dance when the gopis were lamenting, like that. Then he starts to describe the exalted position of the conjugal love for Krishna. So this is where we are in 82 to 84 verses. We're starting in 84 today, I think. 84 today, yeah. So basically, just before this verse, 83rd verse, the way it started is there are 5 primary rasas, right, for all of us. So each of the rasa that devotee attains finally is the topmost for him, is the best for him. But still, from neutral position, there's a gradation between them also. He is describing like that. So that gradations is where he's going to how conjugal rasa is the topmost. Madhurya rasa or the Sringar rasa sometimes is called. How is the topmost? That is where it's going. So in 84th verse, Ramanandra is saying, love which has the highest taste in the gradual succession of desires manifests itself in the form of conjugal love, he says. So then 85th verse, here is describing how each rasa is higher than the previous rasa, like that. and includes whatever qualities are there in the previous rasa like that. That means uh, Shantarasa has next to higher than Santarasa is Sakyarasa. And in Dasarasa, sorry, Dasarasa. So in Dasarasa, what are qualities of Santarasa are there? Similarly, Sakyarasa is higher than the Dasarasa. So that has the qualities that are there in the previous two rasas like that. That's how he's describing the point here. And to describe that, he goes to specifics now. In the 86 verse, he specifically says, as the qualities increase, so the taste also increases in each and every mellow. And he says, he talks about the top pros because he's talking about the Madhurya Rasa now, right? He says the quality is found in Santarasa, Dasarasa, Sakyarasa, Vasalarasa are all in the Madhurya Rasa also. Remember that is a theory he explained in the previous verse, that how qualities of the previous rasa are there in the next rasa like that. Now, to explain that, he gives an analogy with the material elements he talks about. Specifically, during creation, we hear about this in Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto and third canto also. That how sky comes first, and then air comes from next, then fire, then water, and then earth. Basically, it goes from subtle to gross, basically. Sky is subtler than air is little grosser than sky, and then fire is little grosser than air, water is more grosser than fire, earth is more grosser than everything else in before, like that. So, he's describing that the quality is also increase one after another, a gradual process between these also. He is giving material elements. So actually, Prabhupada writes about this in the next verse purport. Basically, he's explaining clearly what that means. In the sky or space, the quality of sound exists. Whereas the next element, next material element, air, not only the sound element that was there in the air is there, but also the touch is also there. The quality of touch. So that is also considered a sense object in the language of Bhagavatam second canto. So basically, similarly, in the fire, there are three qualities. What are those? Sound, which was there in original sky, and then touch, which was there in the next called air, and then now form also came in the fire like that. Like that, each of the successive material element, there are qualities from the previous material element also. So this is comparing, is giving this analogy to explain how Madhurya Rasa has all the qualities of previous rasas, similar to how earth has the qualities of all the others, including the new quality that it has, which is smelling. So that is what Prabhupada is nicely explaining the purport for us to make it very clear. So basically, Madhurya Rasa or Sringara Rasa is the topmost, where Supreme Lord fully agrees to be under the control of devotee. So that's why it's considered topmost, where Krishna is coming under sub control of devotee like that. The highest form of conjugal rasa, Prabhupada is preempting what is coming up in the upcoming verses. Is preempting now itself. He's saying that the highest form of conjugal rasa is expressed by Srimati Radharani. Therefore, in the Radha and Krishna pastimes, Krishna is always subjugated by Radharani's influence because her love is so great, like that. There's the point Prabhupada is comparing, putting in the 88th purport. In the 88th verse itself, it says complete attainment of Krishna's lotus feet is made possible by love of Godhead, specifically Madhurya Rasa. So basically, that's the highest form of love for Krishna, Madhurya Rasa, Sringara Rasa, like that. Now, going to 89th verse, so far he described the exalted position of the conjugal love for Krishna. Now he describes 89 to 95 on the exalted position of the gopis themselves. So, by quoting different scriptural verses, like Srimad Bhagavatam verse, is the beauty of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Because Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita not only has original verses Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami composed for Chaitanya Charitamrita, but it also has verses from many different scriptures, like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Padyavali, Laghu Bhagavatamrita, like that. So many top scriptures verses are there. So in fact, that's why Our acharyas love the Chaitanya Charitamrita also. That's one of the reason, of course. So this quoting Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto 82 verse, 82 chapter 44 verse is quoting in here to explain. Lord Krishna is telling the gopis, the means of attaining my favor is loving service unto me. Basically, only through bhakti, by performing bhakti, we can attain the aim of the human form of life, which is to go have the natural position of eternal life. Other way of telling the same thing is, we can go back to spiritual world in service of Krishna through devotion service only. That is a simple way he is expressing. Now, 90th verse states, Lord Krishna has made a firm promise for all time. If one renders service to him, Krishna correspondingly gives him an equal amount of success in devotion service to the Lord. So, secret for us is, the more we serve Krishna, the more Krishna gives mercy for us. Of course, Krishna also has caused us mercy, but the more we are in the disposition of service attitude, the more we are in the attitude of pleasing Krishna, then we are able to receive the mercy of Krishna also. It's like having a receptacle. I was reading somewhere, I forgot, yesterday or today. There are examples given for this. Example is given is about sun. So where sunshine is there everywhere. But if somebody covers himself, goes inside the cave, or covers himself with umbrella, then they cannot receive sunshine, even though sun is equally giving sunshine to everyone everywhere, like that. So similarly, we should become the Krishna's mercy is there always, but depending upon our disposition, we can receive as much like that. I forgot where it's reading, but yeah, but it's a nice thing. Essentially, like something like 3-4 stages are described. One stage was how somebody may not want to serve Krishna at all. They only want to enjoy senses. Then their reception of sense mercy of Krishna is very little. They can receive mercy of Krishna because they are not in a position to receive. Then somebody is in little service disposition mode. Okay, let me serve Krishna like that. Then they will receive even more mercy. And then topmost position is somebody is in full service mode to Krishna. Then their reception of mercy is topmost like that. That's how it's described. So similarly here also, this verse is also talking that angle basically. Then this purport is long. Prabhupada talks about how bhakti yogis are topmost, whereas materialists are who are engaging for, who are aiming for sense gratification, they cannot receive the mercy of Krishna like that it talks about. Then also even worshipping of demigods is not perfect. Some people say, oh, you worship Ganesha, Shiva, Krishna, or this Durga, doesn't matter. All are same. You'll get the same result like that. And all names are same like that. Whether this holy name, that holy name, everything is same like that. That's what Prabhupada is pointing it out, saying that there is a incorrect understanding. There's a wrong understanding. Um, because Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita that if you worship demigods, you go to demigod planet. If you worship me, you come to me. If you worship ghosts, you go to the planet of ghosts. Like that he talks about. So that is what Prabhupada is quoting. And Prabhupada is also quoting another verse from Bhagavad Gita to tell that worshippers of demigods are lost intelligence. Because the result of worshiping demigods is what? They'll get some material benefit. Probably bigger benefit also potentially. Big material benefit also they can get, even going up to early planets. But still, that's a temporary and limited. That means limited in sense, they'll get only some happiness out of it. And then temporary in the sense that after some time they need to suffer again. It cannot stay for a long time because it's material happiness, right? So that's the other point Prabhupada makes in the purport. And then he says, he also, Prabhupada quotes a beautiful verse, Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktyama Avijanati, that verse that says, one can understand me as I am Krishna only by devotion service. So because impersonalists cannot understand Krishna, therefore they cannot go back to the spiritual kingdom of God. That's what Prabhupada is. So the secret for going back to Godhead is not worshipping anybody and anything, not following anything and everything. We worship Krishna or the Supreme Lord through regulations that are given in scriptures as guided by our spiritual master. Not like whatever I think is best. Let me take this one principle from here. It feels nice. This one principle from here, it feels nice. It feels right. Not like that. We follow according to what is given in scriptures, that is authorized by our guru, and with the guidance of the guru, like that. So that is what is being recommended by Prabhupada in the purport for us also. Yeah. I'm going to the next verse, 91st verse. 91st verse. Yeah, this is Ye Tamam Prapadyante. Remember the previous was talking about how Krishna will reciprocate according to our position, like that. So here he is directly quoting that verse. Ye Tamam Prapadyante Tam Sadeva Bhajamiham. Means as if somebody surrenders to me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone is following my path in all respects, like that. Krishna's Gaurus Goswami also is quoting another Srimad Bhagavatam verse. Lord Krishna cannot. So previous verse what was saying? He was saying he will reciprocate according to our surrender, proportionate to our surrender, right? Now this verse is contradicting that in the sense, Lord Krishna cannot proportionately reciprocate devotion service in the Madhurya Rasa. So in the lower stages of devotion service, that makes sense. Krishna, according to our surrender, Krishna will reciprocate to us. But for topmost devotees in Madhurya Rasa, Krishna is not able to reciprocate with their bhakti. And he will remain a debtor to such devotees always, he is saying. So that is confirming that by uh, quoting some verses from Srimad Bhagavatam. So specifically, when the gopis were overwhelmed with dissatisfaction of Krishna disappearing from Rasa Lila, Krishna returned back and speaks these words. Part of the words I'll repeat again from the verse translation. He says, I must admit, Krishna is saying personally to the gopis, in many lives, it would be impossible for me to repay my debt to you because you cut off the bondage of family life just to search for me. I mean, they're solely depending on Krishna, they're solely wanting Krishna, they gave up all family relations also. That was the highest platform of love they're in. So that's why Krishna is saying, I'm indebted to you. I cannot repay the debt in many lives for you, also, he's saying. So consequently, I'm unable to repay you. Therefore, please be satisfied with your honest activities in this regard. That means become satisfied by your own service, like that. This is an important principle, actually. These two important principles. One is Krishna is so grateful for the service that is rendered by devotees. And as purity in our devotion service increases, Krishna is even more grateful. That is one more point. Another point is, Krishna is saying, please be satisfied with your own honest activities. As the devotion increases in devotees, they're satisfied with doing the service itself, more than with the result of service came nicely or not. Of course, their endeavor to make the service nice, result nice, that they will do. But they're satisfied by doing service itself, like that. So that is the point we can learn from here, actually. So as we grow in bhakti also, we can experience that. So now going to 94 verse. Um, yeah, this set of verses are also beautiful again. Basically, these two verses are saying that Krishna is naturally beautiful, Krishna is naturally very sweet, but when he goes in the presence of gopis, he becomes, his sweetness increases unlimitedly, it says. So sweetness and Krishna's beauty increases unlimitedly. If you remember, the point about the beauty was also discussed in the Adi Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita also. When Krishna comes in presence of gopis, by seeing gopis, Krishna will be more happy, more beautiful, become more beautiful. And then by seeing Krishna happy, gopis become more happy. And because of that, because they're happy, they're more beautiful. Then seeing that Krishna becomes more beautiful, seeing their happiness, like that. Seeing Krishna's happiness, they become even more beautiful. Like that, it keeps on going. That was what is described in Adi Lila. Same thing is mentioned here in one verse, basically. There is a reciprocation between the Krishna and the gopis. That's the exalted nature of the gopis. That's what is being discussed for us here in this section. Now, going to the next section, 96 onwards. 96 is talking about Lord Chaitanya. After hearing these descriptions, he says, this is certainly the limit of perfection. What is certainly the limit of perfection? That gopis love for Krishna and Madhurya Rasa, like that. but please be merciful to me and speak more if there is more like that. He's asking you to tell even more exalted topics. Ramananda Rai says, until this day, I didn't know anyone within the material world who could inquire beyond this perfectional stage of devotion service, beyond the stage of devotion service of Gopi's love. So nobody would have inquired. I do not know anybody who inquired in the material world. You are inquiring like that, he's saying. Then he starts to describe among the gopis who is the topmost, Srimati Radharani. That is the next set of verses. He's describing the Radharani's love. He's saying, among the loving affairs of the gopis, Srimati Radharani's love for Sri Krishna is the topmost. That is why glories of Srimati Radharani are highly esteemed in all revealed scriptures. Like that is starting. Then 99th verse he says, this is quoting from Padma Purana. Just as Srimati Radharani is most dear to Sri Krishna, her bathing place Radha Kunda is also dear to him. Among all the gopis, Radharani, Srimati Radharani is foremost and very dear to Lord Krishna. That is quoting different scripture verses basically. And then he's quoting another Srimad Bhagavatam verse where Srimati Radharani's name is mentioned indirectly by referring to Anaya Radhita, like that. Aradhita means Radha. Radha means the topmost worshipper, it says, meaning that's how Prabhupada writes in the purport. Radha means topmost worshipper, like that. So, dear friends, the gopi who has been taken away by Krishna to a secluded place must have worshipped the Lord more than anyone else. That's what gopis are telling. When Krishna and Radharani disappeared from Rasleela, that is the context. So, this is basically referring to that how Radharani is the topmost among the gopis, like that. And then one verse, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, oh, please speak on. I'm very happy to hear because the river of unprecedented nectar is flowing from your mouth. He's saying, tell more about Radharani's love, like that, glories of Radharani's love, like that. Then he starts to describe 102. 102 verse he says, during the rasa dance, Krishna did not exchange loving affairs with Srimati Radharani due to presence of other gopis, like that. Because of the presence of other gopis, he did not express his love to the fullest to Radharani, like that. Then next verse, that's why he stole her away to secluded places described. 103rd verse, if Lord Krishna rejected company of other gopis for Srimati Radharani, we can understand that Lord Sri Krishna has intense affection for her. So he's proving the point that Lord Krishna's affection to Radharani is the topmost among the gopis. Like that. Then he says, please therefore hear from me about the glories of Srimati Radharani's love. They're beyond compare within these three worlds, like that is announcing. Then in 105 he says, Radharani, seeing that she is treated equally with other gopis, she left the rasa dance. Then, missing the Radharani's presence, Krishna became very unhappy and began to search for her, like that. And then Lord Krishna took Srimati Radharani in his heart because he would desire to dance with her, it is described. So last verse for today, um, Krishna is regretting Radharani's absence uh, due to her not treating her well, like that is described here. This is from Gita Govinda, it seems, these two verses. Lord Krishna began to search for her along the banks of the Yamuna river. When he failed to find her, he entered the bushes of Vrindavana and began to lament. So Krishna is eagerly looking for her and lamenting when he cannot find her, like that. That's the essence in this section. Basically, this section will continue where we are hearing the glories of Srimati Radharani, basically. So we heard essentially Ramananda Rai explain on the indication of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu how different rasas, there's a gradation between them. Madhurya rasa is the topmost, how gopis love among them is the topmost for Krishna, and among the gopis, Radharani's love is the topmost. Like that is proving with the statements and scriptural conclusions, references also. So those are the essence for today. We'll continue in the next session again. Sri Chaitanya Chaitamji ki jai, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It's offer obeisance to all the devotees of the Lord. Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kupasindubhya Vacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Thank you, devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.